in this episode of the Natural Alpha Podcast.
So nitrates themselves aren't bad for you. They're actually good for you if they're converted into nitric oxide, but you got to have a healthy microbiome in your mouth. So the muscles of the core, the muscles of the pelvic floor, and the penis all work together. So masturbating or having sex several times a week, but not coming to a climax, not ejaculating. It is a practice called edging. I mean, it's really tough to do, but it does work.
Hey guys, welcome to the show. This is the podcast where we take natural biofundamentals and hacks and show you how to incorporate them into your lifestyle for supernatural results in things like health, muscle building, fat loss, and hormone optimization. So thanks again for tuning in, and now let's get to today's show. All right, welcome back to the show, guys. Today is a really quick one, but important, and you're probably going to want to listen to everything I have to say about this one based on the title. A few things with erections, tips for having a good, solid, hearty erection and to sort of combat erectile dysfunction. So I'll get right to it. Now, this isn't by any means the only things you can do, but these are three sort of hacks that I'll give to my clients that are experiencing either erectile dysfunction or they just want to improve the quality of their erection. So let me get right to it. Number one is actually having nitrate-rich foods. Now that might sound counterintuitive because aren't nitrates bad? Well, not really. What's bad, like the things that are the cancer causing and all that stuff, is actually something called nitrosamines, which is a form of nitrates or what nitrates can turn into. Because what also nitrates can turn into is nitric oxide, right? Which is the dilating component for your blood vessels. It allows blood flow to actually get to the penis among your other arteries as well. But this is a good thing. You want nitric oxide. There's lots of benefits of high levels of nitric oxide, and you get that from naturally occurring nitrates in foods. Now, particularly foods like arugula, spinach, and other leafy greens have naturally occurring nitrates. So you actually want that in your diet because what happens is when you eat those nitrates, they get transformed into nitric oxide by bacteria, particularly on the back of your tongue. But here's a little bit caveat. In order for that to happen, you have to have a healthy oral biome. You've heard of the microbiome in the gut probably by now. Having a healthy microbiome is important and absolutely is. But you have the same sort of mucosa in your mouth. It's one giant tube, really. So I have a toothpaste that I use. Hold on there. Right, so this is All right, if you're still watching or listening, then you must be enjoying the content. So please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's really going to help me help other guys just like you with my content and grow my channel. All right, guys, let's get back to the show. A probiotic toothpaste that I use, just like you would have probiotics to condition your gut. There's probiotics that you can do to condition your mouth. So if you do that, so I use this every other day, and the other day I'll use my activated charcoal toothpaste. But that's something you can do. This is a Designs for Health one that I sell and that I use, but there's lots out there. You can probably find some on Amazon. But that's one thing, having a healthy oral microbiome along with nitrate-rich foods can actually help increase the levels of nitric oxide in your body and give you that strong erections, because that's basically what Viagra does, right? It basically opens up and helps the nitric oxide get to the penis, and then you have erections. What you want to avoid is those nitrosamines. So that's things in like hot dogs and that sort of thing. And listen to what it is, nitrosamine. It means there's a nitrate molecule with an amine, which is an amino acid or a protein. And then the third element is heat. So when you have a nitrate, an amino acid, and heat, that's the bad combination, is those three things. So when you add those up, you get nitrosamines, and that's your cancer-causing garbage molecule that's bad for you. So I hope that enlightens you a little bit. Number two is having a stronger core. How can having a stronger core give you a stronger erection? Well, there's something called visceroptosis, and if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll try to put a visual up here. But visceroptosis is basically when your transverse abdominis muscle falls asleep. And the transverse abdominis muscle is the muscle that's underneath the six-pack muscles, underneath the rectus abdominis. The transverse abdominis, the fibers run sideways, and it sort of looks like a corset, but it holds all of your internal organs in place. You have a structural element to things too, right? And when the transverse abdominis extends, those organs will fall downwards more into the pelvic floor, crushing and occluding nervous system flow and blood flow to the penis, right? As well as any other organs and the testes as well. So a lot of the times what we'll tell people to do is tummy vacuuming. So tummy vacuuming is actually an old school bodybuilding technique that guys used to do, and girls, to flatten out their tummies, not build six-pack muscles. It's to flatten out the tummy, right? I'll try to give a visual of it here. But when you do that, you structurally put the organs back in place, allowing natural blood flow and nervous system flow to get to the penis, the testicles, and other health, the prostate, everything, right? So you have to have that nice structure too. That's why a lot of guys with erectile dysfunction also have these giant pot bellies. At least it's one component. They're just generally unhealthy in general, but that's the other thing. The next thing is a practice called edging. Now, I've seen a few practitioners talk about this. There was a really good guy on Brian Rose's show. I forget the guy's name, but it was awesome. But basically what edging is masturbating, or even having your partner do it, but bringing you right to the edge where you're about to climax and ejaculate, and then stop. And do that several times, basically as much as you can take it, and then stop, right? Another version of this is actually having tantric sex. So if you're having sex with your partner, you know, go ahead, get them off, but then you're not allowed to. And there's certain age brackets as well. I think if you're over 40, you're only supposed to ejaculate once every 10 days to have an optimal, healthy erection function, right? So I've tried this, and it does work. Now, it's hard because when you're about to climax, guys, that's sort of our prime drive in life. And I'll talk about that later. But if you read Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about how the sex drive is the primary drive in man. That's why we do. Now, we channel that, and there's other things in life, but it's a primal instinct. So when you're right on the edge and you're about to climax and you have to stop, boy, is that ever counterintuitive. But doing that a few times a week, and then climaxing, so getting that erection basically when it counts, like when you're with your partner, that erection will be a lot stronger and harder, as well as your ejaculate flow will be a lot better too. So those are three quick tips, three tips that aren't normally talked about, but they do work. So try those out, leave some feedback, and let me know how they worked out for you. All right, guys, stay strong. Guys, thanks for listening. I hope you can take today's content and apply it to your life to make a stronger version of yourself. I really do. If so, it would really help me out if you guys could follow me on Apple or Google Podcasts or whatever platform you're listening on, really. And leave a review as well. And let me know how I'm doing and what other topics you'd like to hear about. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Natural Alpha. And thanks again. I appreciate you guys. Stay strong, and we'll talk soon.